In this video, we're going to continue to talk about editing pages in WordPress using blocks and the block editor, the new block editor. And we saw that we can create different types of pages starting from patterns and templates that are preset for us. But also we can build our own, and we can decide which structure, which layout it's going to have. So I'm going to show you in this lesson how you can start from zero instead of using patterns. So how you can define your own layout and also how you can save it. So this was like the contact page, and we saw that we have like also preset maps we can use, or map blocks, and also we can embed from other websites, and we can use the code. So we can type the HTML code to embed. So in this case, this is Google Maps, and this is the HTML. And so once we finish, we can publish, and we can always check if everything works fine by visiting the site. So we need to view the page online. You can see that it's working. So sometimes we need to go here and visit the website directly to see if everything is working out. So let me just go back here to the dashboard again. I'm going a little bit quicker because we now know a lot about WordPress and the dashboard. We learned how to use it during all these lessons that we went through together. And let's, for example, work in one of these page. So I'm gonna go like in. I'm gonna create a new page actually. So let's add a new page, and I'm not gonna use pattern again. So we're gonna try to understand better how we can create our own layout, but still give a look always to the patterns because you can discover a lot. Well, actually, I wanna just show you quickly if I select this, which is a pretty big group. Now, if I select this image, it's gonna tell me here, down here in the breadcrumbs, how the structure has been composed. So you can see we are inside the page, and then we are inside a group, and then inside the group, there are columns, and inside this one of these columns, there is a picture or image. So the content here, the multimedia content, text and images have been organized in a really precise layout. Usually we work with 2 or 3 or maybe 4 columns. So we can organize our content using groups, using columns and rows. So I'm going to show you this. But if you want, you can study how the patterns that are already there have been created, how the templates that are already there are being organized. And also you see that depending on what you select here, the parameters here will change. So the page stays the same. So you can always work on the options and parameters of the page. And then according to the block that you selected, you have different parameters right here. And in this case, you see we can increase the number of columns, or we can change the style again, and like the background. So this is again like working with CSS styles, and we can do it basically with all the different types of blocks that we will create, but each one has its own. And also some of these have additional CSS, like for example here the border. So we can add a border. We can also add a radius, so we can style this block even more. And then we can go in the image, and also the image has its own styles and so on. Now let's just go back. I'm not gonna save anything here, so I'm gonna go back to view pages, and I'm gonna start a new page. And I'm gonna call these services, just to make an example. So I'm gonna start with a blank page, and I'm gonna add the title here, services. Okay, so right here we can click directly and start with the block. And let's say that I want to start with the image. So I'm going to start with the image. We already saw that we can use some services online. So we can either upload the image from our computer if we want, or we can select an image directly from Google Photos, from the Pexels free photos, from OpenVerse. Now, Google Photos are your photos. These ones are online, And this other is the media library that you will build up in your own space. So if I click here, we will see the images that I already downloaded before. So it's kind of a database of all the media that you will get. Like we have images here, and then we have documents and videos and audio. But right now we only have images that we can pick from. So I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna select a new image from the Openverse, which is another archive that we can use. So let's find like some models. So model, or perhaps we can search for service, and well, I don't know. It's whatever we want. So let's take this one. Select. And now the image is really big. So first thing, let's start by editing this block of the image. And also we have all the down here we have the caption that it's automatically placed. But we can also change some information about the image right here. And we have also advanced. So we can add the HTML anchor. We talk about this in another video. So we can add a link directly inside the image, which could be an anchor or could be a link to another website right here. So we can paste the website right here. Or it could be the media file itself. So to open it up in a different page. And let me select this again. So one thing we can do is just scale these down. I'm also going to get rid of these for now. So there you go. So I'm just going to click and delete it. So we can add another caption, or we can leave it like this empty. So you can scale the image by clicking and dragging these little circles. Or you can go down here, and in the settings, you see we have width and height. So we can do things more precise, like 300, for example. And the height actually is automatic. So it's going to constrain the proportions right here. So you can edit the block by using this toolbar that is going to appear on the top. Or you can use this block editor right here on the right, as we already know. Now, if I select this, and let's see what we can change here. So first of all, we can change the image, transform the image into something else, which could be a gallery, like a tiled gallery. Well, actually, you need more image for this, but we can start to change it, or we can create a slideshow. We can use columns right away. We can change it to a group, and so on. And then we have these other possibilities here. So this one here is the duotone filter. So we can change this to dual color. Really nice and playful. Also, we can change it right here if we want to customize it even more. And shadows and highlights. And click here and choose a specific color. Okay. And let me make it smaller again. There you go. Then we can change the alignment. Now, alignment is already a form of layout. So I can choose if I want to go left, if I want to go right, or if I want to go in the center, and none. So this is like the default position. And then here, again, you can add a caption from here. You can click and change the link or edit the link from here. And then we also have crop. So crop is like editing the picture, just like we do it in software like Photoshop or GIMP or Canva or Pixel, which, by the way, you will find in the channel. You will find video guys in how you can edit this furthermore. But what we can do here is work with the zoom, so we can zoom more. We can also change here the proportions or the ratio, the aspect ratio. So we can do this perfectly square, which I think already it is. And also we can do like 69, so horizontal. We can do this portrait, so vertical, or 3/4, and so on. So different proportion. I'm gonna leave it to square. And since I have zoomed, now I can move around the image to the part that I am interested the most. And I can also rotate in other position When you finish, you click on apply or cancel if you don't want to change the image there. Another thing you can do is add a text over the image. Now this is going to make it bigger, and because it's just changed the nature. So this is now a cover. It's not an image, a simple image anymore. And now I can type here something. Okay. And I can continue by editing the cover, which is, you can see, similar to the image. And I also can use a layout for inner blocks and the content. And you can have a fixed background, repeated background, and other stuff. So always look at the block editor to find more options. Now I'm going to go back, or I can click here and transform it back to an image. That's going to bring it back to the original dimension. So I'm going to rescale it again, and that's it. And then we have these three. Well, you can also replace with another image from the media, or you can upload a new one. And you can click here, you can duplicate, and you can see that if I duplicate this, it's going to go down. So it's working with rows at the moment, not with columns. And let me just change here the alignment. I'm going to align it to the center and align also to the center. So you can see I have a central column, which could be kind of a layout choice. Then I can add before. So this is going to add a block before, where I can add after, a block after the image. And we can copy an image style to another image. So let's, for example, add here another image. So again, select image, and let's go back to pixels, and let's find here like some service again. Okay, so let's go for, let me see here. Well, let's go for this one. Select. There you go. So if I go here and copy the style and then go back here and then paste the style, and let's allow. There you go. So it changed the color and other stuff, but it didn't change the proportion. So or the size. So I'm gonna go here and see which side is this. Is 350. So I'm gonna use this again. Also here 350, and then I wanna crop and make this aspect ratio square like the other and apply. And that's gonna be now the same size and align center as well. There you go. Now we can also like delete this. And then we can group it. So create a group. The group will be identified by this icon right here. Let me go back, Control C. And then we can lock it. We can also create our own pattern, but this is just a simple layout. So I won't mind to create a pattern. We can rename it. We can move it in another position. We can also click and drag this and move it around by dragging it. Or we can edit this as a HTML. So you can see again, we can go inside here and write our own customized HTML if we know how to do it. And for example, here we can change the size. We can change the external stroke, or we can use it visually. We can add it visually. Now you see here we have settings. We can also change the resolution here. We can make it a thumbnail. So it's going to be really small now. And I'm going to change the size here like to 100. Also going to get rid of the caption as I did previously. So there you go. So now it's a thumbnail. Thumbnail are created like to have a small preview of the image. And if you click on this, expand on click, this is going to be now an image that is going to expand when I click on that. Now I cannot see it right here, so I'm going to save it as a draft, or I can publish it. But I need to check it online. I need to see. So you can see I can view the preview down here. And if I roll over with my mouse here, the magnifier will appear. So if I click here, it's going to open the image. And if I click outside, it's going to make it small, which is really a nice effect. And you can save a lot of space, especially if you're doing like galleries. You can add a lot of thumbnails and then just expand them on click. Okay, now let's go back. And okay, I went too much back. So I'm gonna go back here in the services page. So you need to test sometimes when you have like this more advanced effects, you need to test it by visiting the website or the page. And then we already know all of this stuff. So I'm just gonna go on this other one, on the styles of the image. So we can also apply styles. We can have a rounded image or we can have default. We can change again the duotone effect. We can use a border, which is by default black. So if you want to see it more here, let's add another color like white or yellow, something that is visible. So you can increase and decrease the border. And also you can use a radius on the border. So you can give really a lot of styles to this, and then you can again copy and paste the styles. This is the style right here. What's happening here is the style. So let me just add another image, and with the plus, I'm gonna select the image again from pixels, and let's go for something else. Like again, let's search for in services and let's see if there is something. Well, let's get this. Select, and then just copy the style and paste the style. And there you go. Now, the only thing we need to fix is the size. So I'm gonna go here, 350, and that's it, and crop. Again, square, apply. And so we have the exact same style and the alignment. You can see this is kind of a vertical layout that expands vertically, and this is by default. Now, this may be good for devices like mobile. So if I go up here, now I am in desktop. This is tablet and this is mobile. So usually in mobile, we have like vertical structure. Thanks to responsive design, this is better because we don't have a lot of space horizontally. But in the desktop, we can change this, and then it will change then automatically when we switch to mobile. So we are not constrained to work in vertical. We can use other types of blocks to work on the layout. So I'm going to click plus, and also I'm going to do browse all. So this is all the list of the blocks that we can use. Again, we have patterns. So if we don't know what to do, we can always take inspiration from existing patterns and layouts. So we can take them and just customize them. Really easy. And then also we can access the media here. So again, images that we already used, Openverse, pixels, free photo, and so on. So let me go back to block. So we saw how we can add a paragraph or how we can work with the heading. So all the textual part here is really easy to use. And we can check also a preview. When I roll over, I can see a preview of what is going to be. Like for example, detail is going to be a small text that is going to expand by clicking on a little arrow. And then we have table. So things that usually do in a Word or other simpler software. So I don't want to go through all of these. So this is the text part. And just click and test it. Like a list is really easy. It's going to create like a list of different items like that. And then we have media. So we work with the image, but we can also add a gallery, or we can add a tiled gallery. And we saw some example also of this. Or you have perhaps media and text, so image and text in this case, or you can add a video. Or and you can see this is going to be from your media library, or you can upload from your computer, or you can we also saw that we can embed. So if we go all the way down here, we have the embed part. So this is all the things that we can embed, really a lot of different types, or we can embed from YouTube and other stuff. But let's focus on what we need right now, which is the part of the design. Design is the part about layout design. So for example, we have buttons. These are also really handy. So for example, here I can add a text. I can add like contact us, and this is going to become a link as well. So you have a link button, a link, and let's link this to the contact page. There you go. So now if I click here, it's going to open up that page internally to the website. So if I publish this, remember pages needs to be published. Otherwise, I cannot add a link to a draft page. And I can also view page from here. And this is going to bring me to the test. And I can click here. And this is the page right now. So you can test if this button is working and how it is working. So let's go back again to the editable part. And then I can perhaps click and drag this and place it like in another part. I can also click on these arrows to bring it down. So if I start from the title, the only thing that cannot move, the only block that is going to be there, press enter, this is going to create automatically a new block. Click on plus, click on browse all, and let's get back to the sign. And then we have columns. Now columns are really handy when you need to define a layout. And these are some presets. So you can see that we have like different proportions for the columns. This is, for example, 3-column. So if I click on this, it's going to add, it's going to continue to add, but in this row right here. So if I click plus, and let's add like a paragraph, simple paragraph, and I'm going to type here column 1. Now, if I press enter, I can go down and use another block. But if I want to proceed with the other columns, you can see if I click here in the middle, I can find another column. So this is column 2, and then, oops, sorry, I didn't save. Well, actually, I need to select paragraph first, column 2, and again, click here, paragraph, column 3. Now, if I want, I can also add more columns. We already saw how to do this. So we can work down here with the columns block, and we can add more columns. Stack on mobile. So on mobile phone, they're going to be stacked on top of each other. So if I preview this on mobile, you can see the columns will become rows. And here I have an extra block that I want to delete. So column 1, column 2, column 3. If I go back to tablet, again, they're going to be stacked. Desktop, they're going to be in columns. So if I deactivate that option, now you can also try to click around here and try to get the border of that column, but I find it really difficult. So if you cannot do this, just go down there on the breadcrumbs and select the columns. And then we can here deactivate this. So if I go back on the mobile, they're not going to be stacked one on top of the other, but they're going to be smaller and one next to the other. Again, go back to desktop. And we can stylize everything here. So if we go in the columns, we can work, well, let's apply this. And then again, we have block name, anchor, additional CSS, and then we have the styles. So here I can decide a color for the text, a color for the background. Let's add a yellow color also here, and perhaps not too dark. Let's do something like this. Okay, and then I can change the size. So this is still paragraph, but you can change the size, the padding. There you go. The margin, the block spacing. So in this case, it's more like in horizontal than vertical. And we also add the border here. We can add the border, we can increase the border, we can increase the radius, and also we can align this differently. So we can align, and we can use the columns or the single paragraph. So I'm gonna align here the single paragraph to be in the middle of each column. So they're gonna look more organized. And this could become like a menu or something like that. And again, you can do this with the text, but you can also use images. So if you click and drag and you place the block, this block of the image there, you know, you can create like really different types of menu and layout as you like. It's really versatile. It's really amazing how you can play around with all these complex CSS in WordPress. Everything is handled by WordPress. You just need to, define things, but really easy. Let me make this a little bit bigger, like 150, and maybe bigger. Let's make it 180. Okay, and this is also 180. And again, this I will click and drag it, place it down there, and copy the style from here in here. So paste style and make it bigger. So 180. And there you go. So we have a nice, menu type that I can use. It's just an idea. You can work with yours. But just to show you that, again, you work with different types of layout. You can work with alignment. You can work with columns. And let's click on plus. Let's see what else we have here in the design part of interesting. So you have a group also. When you create a group, you can create an empty group, or you can use already columns or rows, stack or row. So let's do like stack. So in this case, again, click. So you see, if you insert something here, like a paragraph, this is kind of the standard. So stack one, and then if you go here, you see you have this, which is stack type. And also here you can align, justify, and align bottom, align top, all the different alignments. Just delete this and let's see what else. It's interesting here, but you can figure out also the rest. Now, when you have a group, you can place things inside the group, and the group usually is going to keep it together. So this is why you can create a group. Again, let me just press on plus, and then you have a row, stack, more. This is when you have like extra content that it's hidden, but if you click here, it's gonna expand. And then you have a page break, and then you have a separator, you have a spacer that you can change. So you can make it bigger, smaller, change color, change margins, and customize as much as you can. You can also, for all these, edit the HTML. So you want to discover the HTML behind that, you can click in there and see. And then you have, let me see here, separator, line, table of contents. Now, in this case, you can summarize your page with a list of headings. So you need to add text like you are doing an index. And then you can see you need to add HTML anchors to the heading blocks right here. So it's kind of creating a lot of anchors inside a really long vertical page. And then we have also layout grid, which is good for working with responsive. So you can define each single thing here using this kind of grid. So let me add here paragraph. So yeah, that's could be grid part. So you need to add content for all of these plus icons, and then when you move in the tablet mode, you can change the grid as you want. So you can redefine here the grid as you want, and change the alignment, unlock. So maybe you want this to be smaller or in another position. It's kind of tricky and a little bit more advanced. So you can spend a little bit of time here understanding, but essentially you can define the exact position in the various devices using a grid instead of like leaving these automatically to WordPress. And that's it. So these are the most important design elements that you can use, and they will help you to define better your layout. And again, if you have problems understanding all of this stuff, just check the patterns, check how they're made, and they are created using groups, using columns, using rows, So everything is nice and organized in many different ways. Now, if you want to save to reuse it later, if you click on these columns, you can click and create a pattern. So we can call this my photo menu or whatever. You can also add a category here. You can place it in a category. So I can place it like in services and synced. So it will update when anywhere it is used. Yes, this is a good option. So when I create a pattern, it's gonna just change here the icon and the name. So this is gonna become a pattern. So I can get it anytime I want in the patterns. And also if I click here and I want to like get rid of this pattern right here, I will just detach pattern, and that's gonna make it a simple group, a simple column block again. So this will be all for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you want to support us. If you want to support us more, you can join the channel as a supporter. Check out other courses and guides in graphic design, web design, 3D design, and so on. And so thanks, and see you in the next lesson.